Nova Scotia. Please rise for the entrance of their honours, the Honourable Arthur J. LeBlanc, Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia, and Mrs. Patsy LeBlanc. Please join in the singing of our national anthem, O Canada, the words for which you can find in your booklets. Thank you. Please be seated. Through the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1725 and subsequent treaties, the connection between the Mi'kmaq people and the Crown was formalized, and it remains a foundational aspect of modern Canada. In the spirit of meaningful reconciliation, we are proud to acknowledge your presence on the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people in what is today Nova Scotia. This kinship and connection endures through the special relationship that exists between the King of Canada and the Mi'kmaq people. These treaties remain foundational to the relationship that exists between the Mi'kmaq and all Canadians, and are best exemplified by the phrase, "We are all treaty people." I would now invite Elder Marlene Companion to come forward. Elder Companion?
Good afternoon, everyone. celebration, we always smudge and we say a prayer. Smudging is a cleansing of mind, body, and spirit. We put sage into this smudge pot to introduce positive things, sweetgrass to remove negative things. We put cedar into the pot to protect all of our positive energies. And last but not least, we always use the medicine of please and thank you. We use tobacco. Today I would like to offer this smudge. I'll go around the room. And as I go around the room, if you have a prayer, my evil fan will gladly take it. For those who wish, you may stand. Great Spirit, we come before you in a humble way to honor our people who will receive the Order of Nova Scotia today. We pray that you bless them so they may follow the teachings of their ancestors. May they continue to walk, speak, and live in service of Nova Scotia with wisdom, truth, humility, love, honesty, bravery, and respect. Creator, we pray that you continue to guide us as we share our many cultures, ceremonies, traditions, and knowledge. Together, we may pass this knowledge on to our children and grandchildren to ensure the next 7 generations of proud Nova Scotians. Bless us so we have the wisdom to protect Mother Earth and all living beings that walk upon her. We give thanks for all that she provides us to sustain our lives. Bless us so we may protect the air, as each new being that comes into this world depends upon it to start their life. Bless us so that we may protect our water. Without it, our children cannot drink. Bless our elders, our children, our families, and friends who need your help. Bless our brothers and sisters from the 4 races of humankind, the white, the yellow, the red, and the black, who stand shoulder to shoulder to protect all living beings that walk this earth. We pray that you protect them in their service of all of our territories. Bless us so that when we may come to you with clean hands and straight eyes, so that when life fades as a fading sunset, our spirit may come to you without shame. We say these words with open minds, open hearts, with much respect on this day. Misknogma, all my relations. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Companion. Please be seated. Your Honor, may we proceed with the investiture? To be invested as a member of the Order of Nova Scotia, Colonel John Boileau. An accomplished and widely published historian and heritage preservation advocate, Colonel Boileau has done much to emphasize and enhance public knowledge of the province's rich history and peoples. Boileau, a 37-year veteran of the Canadian Army who was stationed in Cyprus, the United States, Germany, and finally as Canada's military attaché to the United Kingdom, has a passion for Nova Scotia's history. Among his 15 books and more than 650 articles, he has written authoritative works about Halifax, the Halifax explosion, the RMS Titanic, and democracy in Nova Scotia, as well as the achievements of young Atlantic Canadians from diverse backgrounds. Boileau has served as a heritage advisor to numerous organizations. Drawing on his expertise about the African Nova Scotian military contributions to the province in Canada, he advised extensively on the national apology given to descendants of the No. 2 Construction Battalion Canadian Expeditionary Force. Immensely active in his community as a speaker, advisor, and commentator, he gives freely of his time and advice. In retirement, Boileau has retained a military connection as Honorary Colonel of the Halifax Rifles, bringing his time in uniform to 47 years. He has volunteered extensively and was a director of the Royal Nova Scotia International Tattoo Society, the Royal United Services Institute of Nova Scotia. He was also chair of Commissionaires Nova Scotia, the National Council of Honorary Colonels, and the Halifax Military Preservation Society, of which he was a founding member. Boileau is an influential and positive force behind the promotion of the province's cultural fiber and has created an awareness and appreciation of Nova Scotia's rich and diverse history and heritage. Your Honor, Colonel John Boileau. Oh, no, you're good there, sir. You both stay there. That's fine. Yep.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, Your Honor.
Ronald Bourgeois Chatillon. Depuis plus de 40 ans, l'artiste multidisciplinaire originaire de Chatillon, Ronald Bourgeois, s'est efforcé de promouvoir la musique, la langue, la culture, et l'identité acadienne. For more than 40 years, Chatillon native and multidisciplinary artist Ronald Bourgeois has worked vigorously to promote Acadian music, language, culture, and identity. With an international influence and presence, more than 70 versions of his songs have been recorded by a diverse array of artists from Acadie, Quebec, Louisiana, and France. Most notably, Bourgeois' song Viens avec moi was featured on the Grammy-nominated recording by Roddy Romero and Hub City All-Stars. He is one of the principal songwriters in modern Acadie. Bourgeois' multidisciplinary approach has resulted in television, online, and event productions that has furthered and ensured the vibrancy of Acadian culture in our province and country. In addition to having produced more than 200 television programs, he was responsible for the closing show of the 2004 Congrès Mondial Acadien, the 1992 concert celebrating the 250th anniversary of Wedgeport, and Symphonie au Coeur, l'Acadie concert world broadcast in 1993, along with 5 Grutième festivals. An avid volunteer, Bourgeois has served as chair of the Lieutenant Governor's Masterworks Arts Award, Chair of Creative Nova Scotia's Leadership Council, the Nova Scotia Arts Council, and is Vice President of the Fédération culturelle acadienne de la Nouvelle-Écosse, along with lengthy periods of service on the boards of other cultural organizations. Through creating and promoting, Monsieur Bourgeois has had an indelible influence on the development of not only the Acadian community, but also the promotion of Acadie in regional, national, and international spheres. Through ongoing contributions to art and culture, he is an ambassador for the Acadian community and Nova Scotia as a whole. Votre honneur, Monsieur Ronald Bourgeois. Lee Cohen, Halifax. Founder of the Halifax Refugee Clinic, who later spearheaded the establishment of the New Brunswick Refugee Clinic, Mr. Cohen has spent his entire legal career seeking to eradicate the iniquities, injustices, and indignities of society by working to ensure that the most vulnerable are provided with legal services. Called to the bar in 1980, Mr. Cohen began his work with Dalhousie Legal Aid Service shortly before completing his legal studies. He quickly found a passion for assisting those most in need of representation and advice. An ardent advocate for refugee claimants and immigrants, Cohen has worked tirelessly to help hundreds of individuals and their families realize safety, liberty, and opportunity as Canadian citizens. Through a variety of efforts, he has also done much to show the positive and enriching aspect new Canadians bring to Nova Scotia and to Canada. A leading expert on Canadian immigration and refugee law, Cohen's keen legal acumen has been honed over the past 40 years. An able public speaker on the challenges faced by refugees and immigrants, he has done much to assist these communities, while also raising public awareness about issues of diversity, inclusion, and the challenges of settling into a new country. Equally devoted to instilling a sense of public service and the importance of defending the most vulnerable, Cohen has created a network that mentors law students and lawyers who have a particular interest in social justice. Cohen's service to the legal profession, Nova Scotia, and Canada as a whole have been recognized with numerous honors and awards. However, this service has most prominently been evidenced in the countless people he has aided in navigating the refugee and immigration system to become Canadian citizens. Your Honor, Mr. Lee Cohen. Saeed El Darahali, Dartmouth. A passionate and driven innovator, El Darahali demonstrated a unique entrepreneurial acumen and sense of community development since he arrived in Canada at the age of 13. President and CEO of Simply Cast Interactive Marketing Limited, Mr. El Darahali leads a Nova Scotia-based all-in-one engagement company that provides solutions for engagement, communications, marketing, and emergency management. While serving as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces during the 1998 Swissair 111 disaster, he began to develop the idea for an interactive, multi-channel communications software organization. The result was the establishment of Simplycast. A strong proponent of diversity and inclusion, El Darhali has done much to promote the hiring of those with little experience, such as young graduates, as well as those who frequently face barriers, such as new Canadians, persons with disabilities, and individuals from marginalized communities. He has also mentored numerous Nova Scotian youth, serving as an outstanding example of the contributions that one can make without leaving their home province. His commitment to youth employment has extended to advising on the smooth transition from university to a successful professional career. Beyond his entrepreneurial contributions, El Darhali serves as a member of the board of the National Research Council of Canada, Immigrant Services Association of Nova Scotia, the Black Business Initiative, and others. He has previously been involved with the Halifax Chamber of Commerce, the Canada Youth Business Foundation, Digital Nova Scotia, and One Nova Scotia Coalition. Through a diverse series of contributions, Mr. El Darhali has had a significant influence on Nova Scotia's social, cultural, and economic well-being and community development. Your Honor, Saeed El Darhali. Paula Marshall, Eskazoni First Nation. An ardent promoter and defender of Mi'kmaq rights, Paula Marshall has spent the last 30 years demonstrating her unfailing commitment to ensuring that Mi'kmaq people are treated fairly and respected within the justice system. As an innovator and leader in Indigenous restorative justice practices, Marshall's expertise is recognized locally, provincially, and nationally. An early promoter of the adoption of culturally appropriate and effective ways to serve youth in the criminal justice system, Marshall worked for the Mi'kmaq Youth Young Offenders Project in 1995 and played a key role in developing the Mi'kmaq Legal Service Support Network in 2002. Through her efforts, hundreds of individuals have been assisted in navigating the judicial system. Consistently and creatively demonstrating a dedication to addressing injustices through reform, dialogue, and innovation, Marshall has played a significant role in the improvement of our judicial system. Marshall initiated the Mi'kmaq Venture Project in 2009. This experiential youth development program seeks to facilitate cultural pride, family, and healing with the goal of keeping youth out of the criminal justice system. Generous with her time and willingness to share her organizational experience, success, and challenges, Marshall is a much sought-after speaker and advisor. In the academic realm, she has directed a number of university-based research projects on subjects ranging from family violence and police practices to missing and murdered women. Marshall has sought to engage with Nova Scotians at all levels to become active supporters of Mi'kmaq rights to equality before the law. Through her dedication and commitment to justice, she has brought honor and prestige to the Mi'kmaq Nation, to all Nova Scotians, and to Canadians as a whole. Your Honor, I present Ms. Paula Marshall. Natalie McMaster, Troy, Nova Scotia, and Toronto, Ontario. Award-winning Cape Breton musician Natalie McMaster began her fiddling career at the age of 16, and it now spans over 3 decades, highlighted by 11 albums, performing thousands of shows and collaborating with a multitude of world-renowned artists. McMaster's name has become synonymous with the classic Cape Breton violin sound that has placed our Gaelic music and dance on the pedestal of the world over. One of the very few, if only, fiddlers to reach Antarctica, she has performed around the globe, bringing her infectious energy to every stage she graces. From the humble Glencoe Mills Hall in Inverness County or the venerable Carnegie Hall in New York City, McMaster's talents and skills have made her a world-renowned ambassador for our province and our strong musical roots. McMaster's dedicated work ethic shown throughout her career has garnered her recognition throughout the industry. In turn, this has amounted to multiple gold albums, awards from across North America, as well as multiple honorary degrees. With her Cape Breton roots, dedication to her craft, and her love of family, McMaster is a musical force with a distinguished and successful career in music, bringing much to the cultural fabric of Nova Scotia and to Canada. Undoubtedly, she will continue to bring pride and honor to our province in the years to come. Your Honor, Ms. Natalie McMaster. Appointed posthumously to the Order, Kenzie McNeil, Sydney, Nova Scotia, who passed away on the 24th of July, 2021. Accepting on Mr. McNeil's behalf are his wife, Lauren McNeil, and his daughter, Mary Rassi. Through his many contributions to music, theater, film, radio, public service, and publishing, Kenzie McNeil was a tireless promoter of Cape Breton Island, its people, culture, and prosperity. Author of The Island, the official anthem of Cape Breton, McNeil was known across Canada for his many talents. McNeil started songwriting in the late 1960s and emerged as an artist on the local and national music scenes and in theater circuits as well. He made regular appearances on Peter Zosky, This Country in the Morning, and CBC Radio's Morningside, and popular television shows including The Tommy Hunter Show, Ryan's Fancy, Sing Along Jubilee, and The Ian Tyson Show. Finally, he was featured at stage performances at venues throughout Canada. A founding member and artistic director, producer of the theatrical musical sketch comedy productions The Rise and Follies of Cape Breton Island, McNeil and his fellow cast members depicted the real-life challenges and experiences of a struggling community with levity and candor. A groundbreaking production, The Follies helped shape Cape Breton's cultural renaissance in the 1970s, placing the island's story and songs on the national stage as an integral part of Canada's identity. An ardent advocate for community economic development, McNeil was a passionate promoter of Cape Breton. In addition to running for federal office, he was the editor and publisher of the Cape Bretoner magazine and served as chairman of the Nova Scotia Film Development Corporation. Throughout his life, he demonstrated an enduring belief in what the people of Unamaki, Cape Breton Island, and Nova Scotia can achieve. Your Honor, the late Kenzie McNeil. Wanda Robson, North Sydney, who passed away on the 7th of February, 2023, accepting on Mrs. Robson's behalf her husband, Joe Robson. As a human rights advocate, author, and public speaker, Wanda Robson was central to the highlighting the role played and the contributions made by her late sister, Viola Desmond. Robson's work directly resulted in educating Canadians about the country's history of anti-Black racism and the segregationist policies that were once commonplace. Robson's campaign to raise awareness and redress the injustice suffered by Viola Desmond, who was arrested for sitting in a whites-only section of a New Glasgow theatre in 1946, resulted in a number of unprecedented achievements. The approval of the first posthumous free pardon ever granted by the Crown in Nova Scotia's history, the inclusion of her sister's effigy on the $10 bill, and the publication of several books. Her public service included 3 terms on the Nova Scotia Advisory Council for the Status of Women, along with serving in many leadership roles for Guides Canada over a 25-year period. Robson's forward-looking approach and desire to educate people of all ages about social injustice did much to build upon the legacy of her late sister. In 2004, at the age of 77, she became one of the oldest people to graduate from Cape Breton University and demonstrated throughout her lifetime a passion for learning and community service. A much sought-after panelist and speaker, Robson proved that age is no barrier to bringing about positive change. A pillar of the African Nova Scotian community, Robson's warm manner, eagerness to share her life's experiences, and dedication to building a more equitable society enriched the lives of all Nova Scotians and Canadians. Your Honour, Mrs. Wanda Robson. Rustum Southwell, Bedford. Known as a dedicated leader who is deeply devoted to his community and province, Rustum Southwell has worked tirelessly as an advocate for economic diversity and capacity building for more than 40 years. As one of the first Black franchise operators in Nova Scotia, Southwell gained an acute understanding of the entrepreneurial landscape in our province and has done much to share his experience and skills, guiding many new entrepreneurs through the challenges of business ownership. During his 16-year tenure as founding Chief Executive Officer of the Black Business Initiative, Southwell expanded the scope and reach of the organization. An able administrator with significant expertise in strategic planning, business development, and corporate governance, his mentorship and advice continues to be sought many in the business community. While Southwell has positively influenced Nova Scotia's business culture by promoting and assisting the development of Nova Scotia's Black-owned businesses, he is quietly innovative and has a highly effective management style. Among his most notable ventures was the establishment of Businesses Jammin', which encourages Black youth to become entrepreneurs. Beyond the province, Southwell has overseen the creation and expansion of hundreds of Black businesses in Canada, the United States, and the Caribbean. Generous with his time, Southwell serves as Executive Director of the African Canadian Business Development Centre, was a founding member of the board of the Canada Council on Africa, the Halifax Chamber of Commerce, the Preston Area Board of Trade, and the Black Employment Partnership Committee. Additionally, he was the first chair of the board of Hope Bloom's Youth Ventures Incorporated. Your Honor, I present Mr. Rustam Southwell. Dr. Robert Strang, Fall River. As a public health specialist physician, Dr. Strang has spent his career dedicated to improving the lives of others. For 15 years as the province's Chief Medical Officer of Health, it has been part of his job to plan for public health emergencies. Nova Scotians first witnessed his leadership during the H1N1 pandemic of 2009-2010. He has also been directly involved in the development of progressive tobacco control legislation, cannabis legalization, vaccination programs, and health-focused public policy. Dr. Strang is a passionate advocate for the most vulnerable in our society. His collaborative leadership to create Nova Scotia's opioid use and overdose framework allowed the province to quickly respond to this important issue with expanded harm reduction services, more treatment options, and better surveillance. All achieved collaboratively with members of the community, partners in healthcare, law enforcement, and other public policy leaders. Dr. Strang's attention to matters touching on the social determinants of health in relation to substance abuse, immunization, maternal and newborn health, physical activity, poverty reduction, healthy eating, and food security are less publicly publicized hallmarks of his leadership as Nova Scotia's Chief Medical Officer of Health. Dr. Strang played a central role in the province's robust and comprehensive response to the COVID-19 pandemic. His broader community involvements have included appointment as adjunct professor in the Department of Community Health and Epidemiology at Dalhousie University, serving as president of Smoke Free Nova Scotia, and appointment as a member of the board of the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Nova Scotia, Feed Nova Scotia, Autism Nova Scotia, and the National Specialty Society for Community Medicine. Your Honor, I present Dr. Robert Strang. We did practice this, sir. Hope Swimner, Seaforth, Nova Scotia. Founder of the province's first privately owned and operated wildlife rescue facility, Hope Swimner has had a significant influence on how people think about wildlife rescue and rehabilitation. Swimner began her work by developing the first wildlife rehabilitation license in Nova Scotia with the Department of Natural Resources and went on to establish Hope for Wildlife. Today, the organization responds to tens of thousands of calls about injured or orphaned animals, wildlife, and collects valuable data that supports the conservation of delicate ecosystems in our province. Having helped rescue more than 80,000 injured animals from 250 species, Swimner has accomplished much, taking care of wild animals, overseeing their healing process, and releasing them back into their natural habitat. With on-site education programs and presentations to schools and community groups, Swimner has shown what individuals can do to ensure our varied wildlife survive and thrive in Nova Scotia. She also leads a dedicated cadre of staff and volunteers who conduct public outreach, serve as interns, or assist with activities on site. Through the television program, Hope for Wildlife, now in its 10th season, viewers from around the world have been able to witness the diversity of the province's wildlife and witness the expert and compassionate care given to countless injured animals. In addition to providing care and educational programming, Swimner has contributed to the development of rules and regulations related to the province's wildlife, nature, and natural resources. This holistic approach to preserving and enhancing our natural environment shows that education through rehabilitation is a key to a sustainable future. Your Honor, Ms. Hope Swimner. Ladies, gentlemen, and friends, please join the Lieutenant Governor, Mrs. LeBlanc, in congratulating the newly invested members of the Order of Nova Scotia. I would now like to call upon His Honor, the Lieutenant Governor and Chancellor of the Order, to offer remarks. Your Honor, sir. Sorry.
It's okay. I know that he's being cautious with me. Chief Justice Wood, former Lieutenant Governors Freeman and Francis, Order of Nova Scotia recipients, members of the Advisory Council, Mrs. Regan, MLA, families and friends of the recipients, distinguished guests and friends. Good afternoon, bon après-midi, quoi. As the representative of the King in our province and Chancellor of the Order of Nova Scotia, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the Commonwealth Ballroom for today's investiture. À titre de représentant du roi dans notre province et à titre de chancelier de l'Ordre de la Nouvelle-Écosse, c'est avec plaisir que je vous souhaite la bienvenue à la salle de bal du Commonwealth pour cette cérémonie d'investiture. Jalasi. We assemble here today to recognize the exemplary citizenship of 11 extraordinary Nova Scotians who have been invested into the Order of Nova Scotia. And in recognizing their exceptional achievements, we are right to celebrate their passion, commitment, and drive. The 11 individuals the Crown recognizes today, and those who have become members of the Order since its establishment in 2001, have all demonstrated that they possess remarkable qualities. Nous sommes rassemblés ici aujourd'hui pour souligner la participation citoyenne exemplaire de 11 néo-écossais qui ont reçu l'Ordre de la Nouvelle-Écosse. En reconnaissant leurs réalisations exceptionnelles, nous célébrons avec raison leur passion, leur engagement et leur dynamisme. Les 11 personnes que la Couronne reconnaît aujourd'hui, de même que celles qui sont devenues membres de l'Ordre de la Nouvelle-Écosse depuis sa création en 2001, ont toutes démontré qu'elles possèdent des qualités remarquables. This is the first occasion since the beginning of the pandemic that we are able to gather new members of the Order together to be invested with their insignia. In 2021, I had the privilege of investing 4 members into the Order at individual, socially distant ceremonies. And today we are fortunate to gather to recognize 11 members of the Order. These remarkable 11 were appointed to the Order in 2020, 2021, and 2022. This list of outstanding Nova Scotians who we are recognizing today are Colonel John Boileau, Ronald Bourgeois, Lee Cohn, Saeed Dara Ali, Natalie McMaster, the late Kenzie McNeil, Paula Marshall, the late Wanda Robertson, Rustam Southwell, Hope Swinimer, and Dr. Strang. Today, indeed, is the largest investiture we have held since the Order's first investiture, which took place in 2002. For Patsy and I, it is a great joy to gather with all of you today in person to properly acknowledge the service and contributions made by these members of the Order. Indeed, they have demonstrated the strength and the breadth of the contributions that Nova Scotians make to our province. They are outstanding examples to their fellow citizens, and we can all learn from them and from their dedication and their search for excellence. As the highest honor this province can bestow, the Order of Nova Scotia exemplifies what it means to be an outstanding contributor to the life and being of Nova Scotia, and indeed to all of Canada. By recognizing Nova Scotians with the Order, all Nova Scotians are encouraged to excel and make outstanding contributions in their field of endeavor and to their fellow citizens. Honors in Canada are a tangible way in which the Crown, on behalf of all of the citizens and all of the nation, recognizes those who strive to give us positive notoriety and who ultimately make our community, our province, and our Canada a better place to live. Indeed, a unique aspect of our honor system is that the nominations come from the grassroots level. That is, regular citizens nominate those whom they deem to be worthy of recognition. It is a publicly driven process that relies on citizen engagement. This all draws from the model first established by the Order of Canada that was created in 1967. Indeed, again, I encourage Nova Scotians to engage in the nomination process if they feel that a fellow Nova Scotian has made extraordinary contribution to our province. Au nom de Sa Majesté le Roi et de tous les Nova-Écossais, veuillez accepter mes sincères remerciements pour tout ce que vous avez accompli et pour tout ce que vous avez partagé avec vos concitoyens. Nous pouvons tous être inspirés par votre succès et en tirer beaucoup de fierté. Vous incarnez vraiment l'esprit de l'ordre en cherchant à vous dépasser et à accéder à des réalisations formidables et exceptionnelles. On behalf of His Majesty, the King, and all Nova Scotians, please accept my heartfelt thanks for all that you have accomplished and all you have shared with your fellow citizens. Your success is something for which we can all draw inspiration and pride. You truly embody the spirit and the meaning of the order by seeking and achieving outstanding success. Thank you. Merci. Walaliak.
Merci, votre honneur. I would now like to ask you to rise for the singing of the royal anthem, God Save the King, and please remain standing for the piping out of the viceregal party. Please be seated. On behalf of their honors, I'd like to thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'd invite Order of Nova Scotia investees to follow Lieutenant Colonel David Ferris for the group photos. Dignitaries, guests, family, and friends, you may now join the reception, which is taking place in the rear part of the Commonwealth Ballroom, where you'll be able to socialize with their honors and fellow Order of Nova Scotia recipients. We hope you have a good afternoon. Thank you. Merci. Walaliak.